Hey everyone, Laurel here in Minnesota, Zone 5A. Just beginning of June garden tour, already June. We're starting in the back of the back corner because this is where the most updates are. So beautiful shade garden. Still the viburnum is looking real rough. I haven't had time to get in there and investigate and see if there's any sign of disease or something, but that one might be coming out, and bummer because it was so pretty last year. But I am thinking I might move some of this to still be in this fern and move some things over here so that I can plant a tall evergreen in there. Not sure yet. But the clematis started to open. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh. And the tag disintegrated from this one. I didn't remember to look up the name. Oh, that's so pretty. I just love that color. And these now are the third year in the ground, so two that I have planted back here. So they're starting to pick up a little bit. Lots of weeds and grass coming through the fence. It's just hard to get at that stuff. So, I don't know, about once a year I find time to just get in there and cut it back a little bit. Stilby are putting out blooms. I do have, my two crested surf ferns down here are looking good alongside these beautiful lavender blooms on this Jacob's Ladder. I want to say that one's Touch of Class. I can never remember. But super pretty. And of course, Autumn Frost Hosta. Beautiful gold color. It's starting to kind of turn white a little bit on the edges of the leaves. It turns more to a cream color rather than gold for the middle and end of the season. And the Back to the Fuchsia Salvia started blooming. Love these three. I just wish the blooms lasted longer. That's the only thing. But just beautiful pink, kind of purpley pink blooms. Fuchsia, hence the name. Third one's a little bit smaller, but that's okay. We'll have more of a succession bloom. And then the Walker's Low Nepeta started opening. This one blooms for a really long time too. There's a plane overhead. Usually I have to, that one will split open before it's even done blooming. A lot of years, or it'll start splitting in the middle. So it's hard because the hummingbirds love those blooms too, but I cut it back so it looks better. We've got a random or a mystery. Oh gosh, of course somebody just started lawn mowing right as I start filming. That's how it goes. All that weedy grass coming through. I need to keep at pulling that out. Yarrow, that's the word I'm looking for. And we do have some blooms going to open shortly here on this yellow iris, all budded up, and these just started to bloom. I think if I remember right, this is a double clematis. More weeds coming through. I was able to spray some of those, but not all of them. But yeah, this purple one, it does get a lot of shade, so it's kind of slow growing compared to the others. So pretty. I think those are the kind with like the frilly center kind of. They open and then they have like a little poof in the middle. So love that. Three is still be back here. We've got the Limelight Hydrangea in close up here. I always forget I have this little bit of bee balm down here. That was a random sale plant that I just popped in a number of years ago. We've got the Berry Smoothie Heuchera. And behind that, the Sage Leaf Willow. We've had enough rain this year. We're supposed to get some rain this week, hopefully. So that's happy. I did seed finally. I had old bean seeds, so I seeded a whole bunch in here. If those don't come up in a week or two, I do have a fresh pack, so I'll just seed those and throw out the old pack. I should probably take the covers off this lettuce pretty soon. This is a butterhead lettuce. And then I had a bunch of old seed packets of lettuce that did not germinate in seed trays, so I just threw what was left over there, and I've been watering, but still, so far, no germination, so we'll see. Onions. I'm growing onions for the first time in the ground, so that's an experiment. I got all my peppers planted, and I like to put marigolds in with my peppers. So we got a mix of red, orange, and one yellow pepper. These are strawberry blonde marigolds in the first one. That's my favorite variety, along with Fireball. Both beautiful colors, and they change. They get deeper reddish color later in the season with cool weather. So, and then I got some, what is it, Durango yellow, I think is what the bright yellow ones are. I planted 8 peppers. Got this bed filled. That has zucchini seeds. And you'll see my cat proofing everywhere. So The strawberries will go in that other bed that I currently have halfway filled with soil, with bags of soil and compost. But you can see they are blooming and fruiting right now, so I don't want to dig any up and transplant. I'm just going to wait until this flush of fruit is done, and then obviously all of these are not going to fit in that raised bed, but I will dig everything, put what I can in the raised bed, and then give away the rest. I might leave a few in the ground where they're kind of out of the way and just control the runners, just so I have backup in case we have another bad winter and the ones in the raised bed die. I did plant this planter in the center. I like doing flowers in here. I have 2 different kinds of zinnias, pink and white, along with a pink angel face angelonia. And I think I showed my shallots in these grow bags. I like these grow bags a lot. You can see that's not mold on the side, that's lichen, different kinds of lichen and moss that grow on the bags. Completely harmless, doesn't hurt anything in the garden or the plants. I think it looks kind of cool. Gives it a little patina, I guess you could say. But I eat a lot of shallots and a lot of peppers pretty much every day. And shallots store all winter for me. In fact, I'm still eating the ones that I harvested last year. We've got my patch of garlic, another pepper, and some shallots back here. I was thinking about doing cucumbers in this spot. You can see there's a catnip that's self-seeded over here. I should trim back. But I don't know. I don't know if I want the harvest. There's just so much to do in the garden this year that I want to get done anyways. I have goals. So, and I had snapdragons and marigolds planted at the end of the season last year, and they have seeded themselves everywhere. So I might just let this be flowers. And I have more, all those snapdragons that I seeded that I can fill in with as well. We've got dill. Uh-oh, this poor marigold seed got crushed by a rock, but that's okay. These came up in the garden beds. These are all volunteer marigolds in here. I did put 1 pepper, and everywhere I've watered, there's like more marigold seedlings popping up. I did at the end of the year had planted marigolds grown from seed in here, so that is why I have carrots in this whole section under the wire bins to keep the feral cats out. Carrots take a really long time to germinate, so the hard part about these baskets is keeping up with the weeds. Like I can already see marigolds germinating in there. A little bit hard to reach the weeds, and I don't want to pull the baskets up and disturb the carrot seeds. But I managed last year. It was fine. We've got all this volunteer. Still haven't done anything over here, but the volunteer, the self-seeded cosmos are coming up. I've been kind of getting in here and picking at the weeds a little bit. Although weeds tend to get shaded out later in the season, so it's not too big of a deal. The purple sensation allium are pretty much out of color now, so I'll just cut those all the way back. You can see the leaves die back quite a bit on those before they even start blooming. But the lilies, stargazer lilies there coming up, and then the hardy hibiscus. That one was a little bit late this year. It's always late. Love that ferny, frothy foliage on the coreopsis there in the middle, and then we've got drumstick allium. Oh, I see blooms just starting to bud up, so that's exciting. I'm hoping I can do this today. Still haven't cut back this aster. I keep it cut back up until about the 4th of July, and then I stop trimming. Gosh, I need to cut that back by like half at this point. Otherwise, you can see it gets massive, and in the fall, it will just split wide open right when it's blooming. I did have a couple extra zinnias, so I popped those down there. We've got buds on the Daisy May daisy. No buds quite yet on this opening, or the luminary opalescent phlox, but that'll come. Such like a tidy habit on that plant. I got the 3 Dark Tower sedum, Anna's Magic Ball, Arbovita, and the Daylily foliage. I have those 3, and then a different one over here. It's hard to resist, even though I hate the foliage on daylilies. When they go on sale, the blooms are just so beautiful if I can get them on clearance, and they're such cool colors. So I think that branch on the hydrangea down there is just dead, so I need to trim that off. I was waiting until June to see if anything sprouted, but nothing at all has sprouted. So opportunity to throw some annuals in there this year since there's going to be an open spot. But those are panicle hydrangeas. Those are firelight, so they can take a very hard prune and still fill in. Love the Boom Chocolate geranium. This is really getting huge this year. Hopefully I don't have to move it away from the allium. We'll see in future years. Still have not disassembled this PVC trellis from the squash. I just have so much to do, so it's been sitting there, but I need to plant this area up pretty soon, so maybe that'll happen today. I don't know. Beautiful chartreuse foliage on the drops of Jupiter ornamental oregano here. And those blooms will be starting to pop out in a little bit. I think this is as big as I can let them get, and after this year I'm going to have to split them probably every few years. We've got some blooms started on this salvia. This is Sky Blue, Sensation Sky Blue. It's not a sky blue bloom. It's like a true blue, medium blue bloom. So go figure the name, but very pretty blooms. This is the other, I didn't go over here yesterday or last week. So these are a pair. This is All That Glitters, All That Glitters and All That Glows viburnum, and they're pollinators for each other to get the blueberries. So one of these is All That Glitters. Those pretty clematis. One of these is All That Glows. This one is also not looking super great. I think I will, maybe I'll cut the other one way back as well. Viburnum blooms on old wood, last year's growth. So if you prune, you want to prune after they're done blooming. Of course, this, although with a berry plant, that would cut off the berries as well. So maybe I'll do it in the fall instead, because this one is full of blooms. So we'll see. Last year, this one didn't bloom, and yet the other one somehow got pollinated. I don't know. Maybe the two other viburnum I have are pollinators for each other. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Back along the trellis back there, that is the Barbara Kensington clematis. That one is now probably about 5 years old. Probably 5 or 6 years old. Gets like magenta, hot pink blooms on it. And we've got buds starting on the Noblessa yarrow. This blooms white, kind of looks like baby's breath all summer long. This is now when we're really starting to get some color in the garden. So we've got buds formed up all over the peach drift rose. All the ends of the branches are budded up. We've got the red bloom starting to open on the Crimson Kisses Weigela there. We've got the, not Blue Star Amsonia, different, or maybe it is Blue Star. N. Amsonia. It is not Storm Cloud, that much I know. It's not proven winners, but that is all full of beautiful blue color. And we've got buds on this opening act phlox. This is a pink one. They're getting eaten up by those dang beetles. It's like shield bugs. And look at this Nepeta. Cat's Pajamas Nepeta. Isn't it glorious? It's just this beautiful patch of color. And it just blooms and blooms for weeks and weeks and weeks. And these allium, these are the new ones that I planted in the fall. Those chunky buds there. Those are going to be cool. There's a patch of disturbed mulch where the feral cats have been using it as a litter box. Ugh. So I need to get in there, clean that out. And then I have coleus and salvia to pop in there. The blue Victory salvia back that seated itself by the downspout is about to bloom. Gosh, I hope that lawnmower doesn't turn out to be too loud on camera. We'll see. This is a Limelight Punch hydrangea. Maybe instead of going towards the lawnmower, I'll move this way first and we'll work our way around. I still have cardboard down. I'll need to get mulch to take over this grass with mulch bed. And I need to plant my dahlias in this patch over here. We're plugging away at the annuals. Still working on it. I'm hoping to get the white diacia planted and the blue ageratum over there planted pretty soon. And these zinnias also need to go in the ground in the back garden. That's kind of what I'm hoping to get done as I also plug away. I did plant up this planter here. So we've got this Super Bells double red stone, a new one that I wanted to try. I've been seeing it everywhere, which is cool. cherry cordial begonia. We've got a Meizu. This is Super Bina Red. Really nice. I've grown that before. Very big blooms. And this is a Vinca vine. I forget. It's a Proven Winners one. Kind of coming back from being overwintered. This is going to be a hanging basket, that collection there. I've got 2 volunteer sunflowers that I'm just going to let go just for fun. Popped that in there. I'll probably put it in a bigger pot and maybe just keep that geranium in that spot. I do have some alyssum that self-seeds over here, so I have to just be careful not to pull up those when I'm weeding. And then 2 American Gold Rush Rudbeckia. Fragrant Bouquet Hosta. This is a zipper heuchera. There used to be one under there, but it died off. And then, oh, I got that cardboard moved itself around. Lots of ground cover over here. I'll show you the honeysuckle too before we walk by. This started opening, so this is what the blooms look like. They're focus. Sort of pale yellow blooms. They don't have much fragrance that I can detect, but the bees love them. I'm hoping this doesn't get the aphid outbreak this year, or if it does, it is very minor. It was much better last year than it was the year before, but I will be spraying with neem this year if it does get aphids. And these 3 sedum here, upright sedum, are the Back in Black sedum from Proven Winners. And then we've got another pink opening act phlox right there. This is sort of the little kitten hangout, because one of the other feral cats has 3 kittens coming around again. Such a issue. And then we've got the Tiny Wine 9 bark, which is not at all tiny. It's like 5 feet tall. At maturity, these are definitely mature. The shrub's filling in nicely, much more compact. That is the Garden Glow 9 bark, or dogwood. And the blooms are starting to open, these beautiful chartreuse blooms on the lady's mantle. And then the lamb's ear. This died back quite a bit from winter. Still a good size patch, but that's okay. Every now and then I needed to size control it anyway, so winter kind of did that for me, which I appreciate. But this will bloom purple, and I do let it bloom and then just trim off the bloom stalks. This is a St. John's wort back there that is kind of getting engulfed, so I think I'm going to move that out and put, I talked about this before, but put that arborvitae, that is the, behind the geranium there, Mr. Bowling Ball arborvitae, because there's nothing evergreen in this area, so be nice to have a little evergreen. So I'll kind of dig up that Leotris and move stuff, shuffle. I'll do a garden shuffle over here. This hosta is a beast. That was a mystery hosta labeled as something else, or it had reverted from what it was to the parent plant, but it's kind of engulfing everything else. So next year I'll definitely have to split that. We've got the Curly Fries hosta. That is Vulcan with the white variegation. I've got 2 Japanese painted ferns in there, and is it Desdemona ligularia? Is that what I said it was? I thought it was one thing, and then I found the tag and it was another, and now I just got myself all confused. But green leaves with purple veins, and then you can see the underside of the leaves are purple, which is kind of cool. This is another Fragrant Bouquet hosta. This little mini one is called Mini Skirt. So I like these hostas shade that one, although I can't let them get so big that they smother it. We've got another Autumn Frost, and then the Turtle Head over here. And last year, our kittens, when they were kittens, wreaked havoc on the plants in this area while they were playing. So they completely demolished this ghost fern last summer. So I'm hoping these feral kittens don't do that as well. That heuchera came back. I thought it was a goner. I wish I knew what variety it was, because that thing has survived drought, heat, super wet summer, this terrible winter. That thing is tough. Heuchera are not like that, so that's impressive. This Dicentra still blooming away. I love that icy foliage. That is the, what is it called? Pink Diamond from Proven Winners. We've got Solomon Seal, another super tough plant. The GM are blooming. These pretty orange blooms. Not nearly, normally these are like huge and just chock full of blooms. But this winter was rough on these. So I'm just grateful that they survived and they're here. And I still get some blooms, so just a bit of a recovery year. This dianthus is starting to bloom. It drives me crazy that all this grass is growing in here, but I do plan to take over this grass. So maybe I can dig that out, get the grass out, and then replant it once I do that. And this sedum is the Rock and Round Pop Star. Beautiful blue and lavender color on that. My planter here with the yellow, we've got the blue mohawk grass, the white Hippo Estes plant. It's getting a little sunburned. I didn't get it accustomed to the sun before planting out here, but it'll recover. Waikiki Sunset, Lismachia, Dichondra Silver Falls, and that is the Super Tuny Mini Vista Yellow. We've got the 3 Bobo hydrangeas looking good. Slowly filling in, along with my little Hosta and Brunnera patch in the back corner. We've got the Jacob's Ladder still blooming. Now a different one is blooming. All of these look like weeds. They're actually violas. There are some weeds growing in there, which I go through every now and then and pull. But those are all self-seeded violas. Here's one that is blooming right now. Variegated Brunnera, Rainbow's End Hosta. Beautiful. And we got full of buds on the Jackmanii clematis here. This is filling in nicely. I was thinking about planting another clematis on this trellis, but I don't know if I need it. I'll see what it does this year and decide for next year. Solomon seal arching over the ajuga there, with their blue blooms still on the ajuga. The Raspberry Splash lungwort never opened its buds. It just sort of budded up pink, so it looked kind of cute, like little petite blooms almost. But one of you commented that yours does that every year, just the Raspberry Splash, but your Trevi Fountain looks beautiful, which is the case for me, although it's odd that my other Raspberry Splash opened its bloom, so I don't know what's going on with this one. I did plant one of my self-seeded Gaillardia down there. That one was one that I grew from seed last year. This is the Pink Fizz Heucherella. Love those baby pink blooms sticking up there. We've got sort of a little river of Japanese painted fern along with a number of hostas. I do need to trim this branch that's covering the Blue Angel hosta. That's a branch from the elderberry. And this was the surprise one that came back, bonus plant. That was just an annual Artemisia that I put in at the end of last summer on clearance. And just, I don't dig up my annuals till the following year when they're in the ground. Dig up their carcasses. But that one started sprouting, so bonus plant. But this area is really filling in. We've got some dwarf goat's beard, all gold Haconocloa grass. That is a snake root. I want to say it's pink negligee. That was new last year. Moonshine lungwort behind that. Excuse me, just got a hiccup. I do have to trim back those stray branches from the lilac a little bit. You can kind of see the reddish pink color here coming through on this hosta. Now I completely forget the name, but it's a new variety. First hosta that gets like red on the leaves. Later in the summer, the leaves turn more green, but the stems stay red. We've got another patch of Solomon seal. I just love that plant. I love the habit and the shape of it. And then down here, right behind the stump, that little patch there, that is a toad lily that I planted. I got on clearance at Home Depot. I didn't see any signs of life, so I assumed it died from our rough winter. And I just noticed that this week. It's thriving. We also have another, this one I just planted last year, another autumn frost hosta. That one was really small. I got it on wholesale through my uncle. Really small when I planted it. So, and then these kind of don't follow. So big news, I planted the tree. Those don't really follow the contour of the tree, so I might move them. But just today, just this morning, my aunt came over and the 3 of us got this Rising Fire Beech planted. So I'm happy about that. I have the extra soil. I backfilled. I have the extra soil here in the can that it came in. Just as this sinks down, I think we're supposed to, hopefully, I said, get some rain this week. So I'm going to give it some room to settle. I might have to backfill a little bit again, and then I'll mulch this area. But it would be great to get some rain when I just freshly planted a tree. Atlantis hosta over here. The white flowers are wild violets that grow. My neighbor's yard is back. This kind of wild area in the back is full of them. And they just seed them. I mean, they seed themselves prolifically, so it can be annoying, but I think they're cute. So I just try and control the seedlings, and I let these patches grow. And then I just discovered this milkweed. I thought this was dead. That's a butterfly weed, milkweed, the orange kind. And I just discovered as I was clearing stuff to dig the hole for the tree last night that it came back. So I ringed it with stones so I don't accidentally step on it. So I see where it is. We've got the native bee balm there. I don't know what this is. I was thinking maybe it was a seedling of bee balm, but it's not. And I can't remember if I planted something back there or if that's a weed. I should use my plant identifier app. We've got the firecracker Lismachia. And then this is Eupatorium bone set. That one's going to be gorgeous this year. And then the 3 Cheyenne Sky Panicum. And I have my carts out. This is burdock. Looks like rhubarb, but it's not. It has this giant root. So I need to get in there and try and dig that out if I can. This is where I throw all my, like, when I cut grass out of the, it's like a whole pile just of grass from when I'm edging, cutting new garden beds, and then a bunch of volunteer weedy stuff. There's the elderberry here and this mulberry. This is not looking so good. That's a pixie fountain grass. I think that really, I transplanted it late in the season, and I think the winter really didn't do it any favors, such as this yew. Just the same issue going on there. But the Calamagrostis overdam looks great. So I'm just thinking about how I want to create screens back here. I have the blue juniper kind of placed. I don't know if I'll do that or one of the other evergreens that I bought. This is the Ubico Blue drinking gourd hosta, and it keeps those like cup-shaped leaves. How you can see how this one kind of forms like a bowl shape. That's its natural shape, which is really pretty, although they do tend to fill, like if you get a lot of debris and then water, they do kind of look crusty, so I have to go in and clean them out every now and then. Along with the striptease hosta. This one's getting really big. That one's a couple years old. I love that watercolor looking painted foliage variegation, but I also just liked the name striptease hosta. So, and a sun, ooh, I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. And a sun king aurelia. I always sneeze in multiples. Is anybody else like that? I'm a multi-sneezer, as my sister says. We've got 2 buttered rum heucherella down there. The Trevi fountain, still in full glorious blue bloom. However, this is what it does. It splits open and you can see the leaves starting to peek out. So this is the only thing with this variety. It's a little bit harder to trim than the others. I end up trimming off a lot of the like true leaves when I trim the blooms just because it's just too much work. Otherwise, this thing is huge. Stays a little bit smaller diameter than that when it's just the leaves, though. This is, the bloom stalks get longer, and when they split open, it kind of takes over. I do need to trim some of the branches. This is the other viburnum that I have that has beautiful blooms right now. Bailey's Compact Cranberry Viburnum. There's another Fragrant Bouquet hosta. That was a bleeding heart. And then the wee hosta over here. I did plant, that one was from last year. These are the Dolce Silver Gumdrop Heuchera. So that survived our rough winter. I had bought those 2 on clearance in the fall and just overwintered them in the garage. So got those planted just today. I had a Virginia there that died with our winter cold. Just those 2 were left. And that's a Rudbeckia that I planted from seed last year that was supposed to be an annual, but came back. And I have more seeded Rudbeckia that I will plant around here. I'm trying to decide placement again. I want to plant this candy corn spirea in here somewhere. So I'm going to play with that, and then I can plant all my annuals once I get that placement right. But I want to get the permanent stuff in first where I want it before I do annuals. This is another opening act phlox. So I'm going to have the tag. ultra pink. Oh, that's right. I think that one is the same as this one over here. I did that on purpose so that the same plant flanked the two gardens. I did move some of these Veronica because they were growing over where I was planting that. And I was going to move another one, but when it's just all like one massive tree root from the old spruce trees in here that I would need a saw to cut. So I kind of had to work around that. So we're not transplanting the others. We've got blooms starting on the Biokovo hardy geranium, those little baby pink blooms there. Not nearly as full as they were last summer, not this winter, is what was hard on them. Still blooms on the hellebore down here. I love that, the tones of this one along with the variegated foliage. I like the blooms kind of complement the dark stem color. And we've got I had a foxglove planted in here, so I got a whole patch of seedlings coming up. And then the Aconocloa macra over here with 2 more autumn frost hosta. So this area, this blank area, will be all full of annuals. This is new, the Stokes aster. And then I've got a whole bunch of self-seeded echinacea. There's a couple pink ones in here from self-seeded, but these were white to begin with. So most of them are white, along with the halcyon blue hosta. And then the ligularia and the hostas back there. And then these heucherella are the sweet tea. And still some beautiful blue color on the ajuga. It is the bare spots that died off in winter are really filling in now. So this will be a nice patch again. Oh, I see an echinacea seeded itself right in the middle of the daylilies. That's okay. 3 daylilies here. I do like this foliage stays more petite and low. The thing with daylily foliage, I don't love this look, but at least it's green and looks clean. But partway through the summer, the leaves start to brown and yellow. And so you're constantly having to go in and like groom off the ratty leaves. Otherwise, the whole plant just looks gross. That's just their nature. Yeah, blooms are absolutely stunning. I love daylily blooms, and they smell good too. And I think if they bloomed all summer, I would probably have a garden full of them, and I would just deal with the foliage. But, you know, like any perennial, they bloom for a month or so, and then they're done. I love the bright gold new growth on these 3 barberry here. And behind that is the North Pole arborvitae. Best clearance plant. Between these two, well, all of the shrubs in this area were clearance. But the best deals, that dogwood was $5, and that North Pole was $15. Look at them now. And then we're kind of back here. We've got a patch of bee balm in here, hot pink blooms. That's really stunning. Oh, I see a weed that I need to get out of there. And then some Caradonna salvia that are just starting to bloom. We've got Millennium allium. I've got 4 of them. We've got a Coreopsis and a Helenium. And then there is a little, this is like a it's something it stays more petite nepeta there. And I think that's it for updates. We can go up front real quick. I did plant, oh no, I did show you that last week, the planter that I assembled for the front, but I also have the Amsonia in full bloom up there, so we can go take a peek, see if I'm forgetting anything. Still have these planters done. I think I'm ready to plant these now. I've been compiling extra plants because I just wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. Ooh, did I swallow a bug? Something got in my throat, sorry. Most of the plants in the flats go in the ground. And let's see, I love the color on this Angelonia. Hopefully it's nice and big. I kind of this is what I do. I'll start laying things out, rearrange plants, find configurations that I need, and then plant. I think I'm missing something over here. I'm not sure what, so I'm holding off for a little bit. But I did plant this area. Kind of pinks, a little bit of purple up in here. And then the rest, all the bare soil has caladium bulbs or corms in it. And then man, the elephant ears are really slow to sprout this year. So that one will go in that planter. And then I have to plant to the fern. I think I need a bigger pot though. This is the overwintered hosta. Shadowland Love Story. They went, Home Depot always clearances stuff, so I pick up a lot there. They're usually one of the first ones to start clearancing. And then just more stuff. I'll do a container video once I finalize all my plantings. Up here, I'll go through everything. Let's see. Trimmed the smoke bush last weekend. We've got this sedum starting to open. It's like orange buds and yellow flowers. I will plant some annuals in here just because I have some dead spots where stuff just does not want to take. These are the Autumn Charm sedum. Those three in front of Crazy Blue Russian Sage. I did assemble these two planters. We've got red and white begonias, just wax begonias, and then this is the Golden Globes Lismachia, similar to the Waikiki Sunset. I think it can't take as much sun though. We do have some blooms opening on the Weigela. Some more blooms. Sorry for the throat clearing. Just got something stuck in there. Ooh, and then this dianthus is starting to open bright pink blooms. I think I really want to get this grass out of here, but I think I'm going to wait till this dianthus is done blooming, or close to done blooming, and then I'm going to dig in here. I'm going to get all this grass out. I'm going to try and get more of this firecracker Lismachia that's spread all over the place. Get those roots out. I think I'll probably have to work on that for a couple years before I get it completely out of here. But that's the way it goes sometimes. I've got yet even more Solomon seal behind the boxwood. Two little quickfire hydrangeas. Got a blue angel hosta with these big, beautiful leaves, fronted by Island Breeze, and then my favorite Spanish flare, hellebore. I've got some kind of mystery salvia down there. And then this bare spot will be annuals. I actually have where the carex died, and just that little patch is coming back. I'm going to replace that with a different perennial that I already got on clearance from Bachman's, an Artemisia. And then I just do annuals in here. So, gosh, I can't wait till these iris open. They're so close. Caesar's brother, probably next weekend. And this is the Amsonia. This one is, it is String Theory. Baby blue blooms. That is such an unusual color. You just don't see that. That bloom color is really hard to find. And I like that sort of stringy look of the foliage too, like the thin leaves. And then the heuchera over here are doing well also. And I haven't done anything. Oh, I can show you another clematis bloom opening on the side yard. This is the blue shadow Fothergilla. And then I think that's a Patriot hosta back there. I kind of forget about that one till it starts coming up. But again, I'll show you that beautiful sort of red-edged foliage on the, this is the limoncello barberry. Looks so pretty this time of year. And don't just ignore this garden. I have not touched it. And then these are all strawberries, like wild strawberries. They're little teeny berries. But it's always green back here because of them, even though they spread everywhere. You can see they're sending runners into this bed. Constantly have to fight those back. I guess it's not any worse than any other weed in the garden. I'm going to be careful where I step because I've got foxglove seeds coming up here. Look at this bloom on this clematis. I need to look at the name. I have this tag actually in the ground. So pretty. Lavender with white. Let me see what the tag says. Claire de Lune. Very fitting. And we've got buds all the way up. This one is in a lot of shade, so it hasn't grown as fast as the others. But I would love it to cover this fence. Maybe I will plant another one over here. We'll see. So that's it. And then we've got this echinacea down here and more overdam grass. So thank you so much for watching. We're all having a great spring. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.